Okay, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, including right here. So welcome, everyone. We are on another edition of Strictly Business. We're going to talk about some webinar, and tonight is Run Your Business Like a Business. Seeing some familiar faces on there, some new faces on here. So if it's your first time on here, welcome. Thanks for jumping on. And if you're new to business, and this is going to be a great foundation for you to create no bad habits, you can start running your business from day one. So thanks for jumping on. As people continue to jump on, we'll let them be in here. Just some ground rules for you guys as they come through here. See if I can get over to it. We'll start right at 5 o'clock. We'll be done before 6 o'clock. The more interaction we have with you, I would love to have it. If it's not much interaction, then we might be done a little bit quicker, and if so, a little bit sooner. So this is a very interactive sport. Right now, everyone is currently muted. If you do have a question or a comment or concern, go ahead and click that question in there, type what it is. If we need a dialogue, then you and I can talk. I can unmute you and you're taken care of there. If you're not having a very good audio, check your telephone audio tab, and you can do a dial-in number if you don't want to go through your speakers. You can dial in to 415, and you go right from your telephone. If that's the case, take me off speaker because there's going to be an echo. And if you have some background, then I'm going to go ahead and mute you as well. In every training I do, you have to be prepared to implement. We're going to work on an action plan. And I also want to know what have you implemented from a previous webinar. So show of hands or comments, let me know whose first webinar is this and you've never been on before. Click that little tab that says you raised your hand. You should see it on your screen right below the name. There you go. Lawrence, welcome. Thank you. David, you've been on here before. I saw you last week, I thought. Sam, welcome. So I'm seeing who's on here right now, so this is new to you guys. For those of you who aren't, if this becomes a recurring thing, if you find value in this, I'd love to get into feedback of what I can do to improve it. Again, this is not really what I do for a living of webinars. However, we're making it and getting better every time. So, David, yeah, I meant this course. This is the first time. It's always a fresh course. What's pretty neat about what I've done so far is every week I write new material. So I usually steal it from somebody else's brilliance, and you'll see tonight it's a class that I took about 2 months ago, and I'm reiterating that to you and regurgitating it out. So another show of hands, how many of you went to Bob Kalinski's Run Your Business Like a Business class when Bob was here about 2 months ago? Bob Kalinski is a regional owner. Okay, so this is going to be fresh for all of you. Fantastic. As you leave here and implement things for the week, as you're going to create an action plan when you leave here with certain goals and deadlines for yourself, I'd love to hear some feedback. Shoot me an email. You get all that information after the end. So let's keep going through what we're going to talk about today. Today is how to run your business like a business using this PDF here. So everyone can see this. Again, presented by Bob Kalinski. This is the PDF he gave me. I took notes and I took it with him. I'm going to discuss what some of my notes were and some also additive things with it. And you can see here I did speak to Bob last week and got permission. Uh-oh, is that not working? That's my little note. We need that to be working. There you go. Bob's permission. I got to represent it today. So I'm not stealing his things. He said, Rick, have at it. I want you guys to ask yourself, or you can ask me, are you incorporated? Are you capitalized? Who can tell me what capitalized means? If I'm asking you, are you capitalized? If you know it, raise your hand, I'll unmute you. Capitalized means can you afford your business? Do you have the funds? Exactly. Do you have the funds? Do you have what it takes to run a business? Your operating expense, your reserve account? So are you capitalized? Do you have separate business checking accounts? Ask yourself this question. Be real with yourself. I want everyone, if you have the option to right now, go ahead and get out a sheet of paper and take your notes because you're going to create an action plan. Do you have a budget? What's the difference in a budget and a P&L sheet? A budget is what you intend to spend. A budget is when you've looked at your 12 months and you say, this is what I expect to spend on my marketing, my occupancy, my travel, my education, my dues, my technology. And exactly right, David chimed in, budget's ahead and the P&L is passed. Your profit and loss is how am I doing? This is my profit, these are my expenses, this is my income, this is my loss. These are my assets, these are my liabilities. You want your budget and your balance sheet and your P&L to all be coincided. One without the other is useless. If you have a budget and don't keep track of any of your expenses, what the heck's the budget in place for? If you don't have a budget but keep a P&L, who knows if you're on track for what you needed to do? Do you have a business plan? So I heard last week from somebody that said the difference between a dream and a goal is goals have business plans. If you don't have a business plan, you're dreaming. What is it going to take to get there? You've got a business plan of starting where you're at, end of the year, to have X number of dollars. What's it going to cost? What's it going to take? What's your activities you have to do? Do you have systems in place? So if you don't, you have every opportunity to get the systems in place. The MREA is a Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. So when you see things according to MREA, that's what that refers to. Many of the systems that are needed to run a business are given to you in that. We also have a great training calendar just last week. Yin Yao gave you all of the checklists. When he goes under contract, here's the checklist I use. Here, use it. That's his system. Tony Glars is given a system as a transaction tracker, his lead tracker. When it comes in, he does this. A couple of you guys were in my class today at 3612.3 with database management. We talked about a system there. Going in, utilize the dashboard, the reminders. Do you have systems in place? Do you have employees or associations working with you? And that's when you get to a different level, when you're able to afford some employees. Do you have a board of directors? And can your business fire you? That's a great question I'd like to ask single agents, or even agents who are running a team. If you paid yourself a salary for what you want to make, would you be fired or hired after 2012's performance? Most of the time, people get this look of fear, saying, "Eesh, I don't know if I'd keep me on board." So can your business fire you? Because in some businesses, they can. So what this does is, in the next spot, we're going to get it broken down. If we take a look, let me get my drawing tools here. The first 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is one budget. This is getting your bachelor's degree in business. So what you're going to start is from the top down. You want to run like a business owner. You want to go out and get incorporated. Start working your bank accounts. So we're going to talk about that. Get your separate checking accounts going. And create a budget. As it's going, can you do the next 3? Can you go get your master's degree? Run a P&L, run a budget, run a balance, Have your business plan. We do a business planning clinic every fall. We bring in a top KWU faculty member staffing trainer. There's a lot of words in there. And they come in and they go through the entire business plan all-day clinic. You get your entire roadmap of what your business is going to look like. MREA systems. You put those in place. Are you following the systems? Who can tell me the 4 systems that are identified, or the 4 models, I guess you could say, in the MREA book? Who knows that? Some seasoned people, perhaps? So there's 4 of them. The organizational model, budget model, economic model, and lead generation model. So you want to know what to lead generate, how many people you have to talk to, it's all in there, the system. And then finally, if you want to get your PhD of business, hire your employees, get your board of directors. So we're going to talk about all those there for you. Okay. I want you to get a sheet of paper or get to your Word document right now and start typing, and I want you to take little notes for it. So here's some notes for mindset, commitment, focus. You guys are on here for a reason. A lot of you, this is your first time registering and signing on, which means this topic really spoke to you for some reason, so you've got the right mindset. Are you committed, and what's your focus? You've got to have that. So let's talk about getting incorporated. Getting incorporated, there's a couple different ways you can do it, a couple different choices. How many of you right now, show of hands, are incorporated? Okay, not seeing too many hands go up. I know, David, you were. You came in. Before we get into that, here's some parting words. It says, we all know we're in real estate business, air quotes. But what we really mean is that we're in the real estate industry. Some of us have a real estate license, some of us are working hard at a real estate job, and a few of us are actually running a true real estate business within the real estate industry. The way to tell the difference is to be very honest with yourself. Judge a situation by comparing what you do of the 10 indicators that we discussed today. Do you really own a business? Do you really have those first 5 things down? You've got a good grasp on your business with a budget and mindset? Are you incorporated? Are you capitalized? Are you even further advanced and you have a P&L that you run and your business plan that's written out every year following systems? Be honest with yourself. If yes, improve it. If not, do you want it? If so, become learning-based, study the models, get a coach, come to coaching, and take the appropriate action. If you're not, you get stuck in what's called a hamster wheel, and of course that's theoretical, and it's not fun to be on because a lot of agents get stuck on it. So not you. We're going to refer to the business as not you. What a mindset is, there's a lot of agents coming through once they get licensed. I'm a real estate business or not. I'm a real estate agent, and that's as far as it goes. You're one person, but really you're an agent within your real estate business. You're the CEO of your business. For most of you on this call right now, you are the CEO, you're the listing agent, the buyer's agent, the administrative assistant, the marketing director, the transaction coordinator, the one who takes pictures and makes coffee, who makes copies. You're everything. And that's okay, because you're starting off. The same way that when a small business owner, let's say who owns the dry cleaners, is going to run everything. And as they grow, they can get leverage. So you versus not you. Not you, it's forms of incorporating your business. You can do it with a C corporation. C corporation is an option. And everything that I'm saying right now, do not take to the bank. I'm not an attorney, I'm not a tax advisor, and I am not your trusted wise counsel. I'm just kind of information guy at this point. So if you're looking to get incorporated, contact your attorney, contact your wise counsel, contact your CPA. A C corporation is a quick summary here. It provides non-tax benefits, limited liability. What's not good about it is you can get taxed twice because you get taxed income as a shareholder and then also as the corporate income. So it's not very wise, I guess you could say, for our level of business to have a C corporation because you don't want to get taxed twice. A sub-small corporation, known as an S corp, is much more common. You only get taxed once because these shareholders can take a direct income. So some S corps that you might be familiar with is INC Incorporated, PA. So you're going to choose which of those initials you want, but that's all an S corp. David, I'm going to unmute you here because you've got some experience, brought up a point of a plus with C. Instead of C is fiscal versus calendar year. Can you explain that more in detail?
Yeah, most people work on a calendar year as their own companies or even as LLCs, LLPs, etc. And that's the end of December. And most people do that because of tax reasons and their own personal taxes. So with a C corporation, you can set the fiscal year to any fiscal year to any month you want. Like in my corporation, I set it at the end of May. That allows me to transfer money around in the middle of the year to what's more beneficial for myself as far as taxes. You can stay in the corporation, you can come out. It gives me basically 2 points of the year where I can manipulate money to minimize tax impact.
Okay, it's a great point there. So you can avoid those taxes there, and you're not stuck with a normal tax schedule. I'm on speaker. I'm going to mute you again. But it sounds like Dave recommends or prefers the C corporation because of that ability to do fiscal versus calendar. Again, you need to have your wise counsel and find out what's best for you, for your tax benefits of what you want to do. The third type is an LLC. It's very similar to the S corp. It's a limited liability corporation. You might be very familiar with this as LLC, limited liability. That's what it stands for. It's a business entity created under state laws which has characteristics of both a corporation and a partnership. So you can do both. A recommendation from my personal CPA, he said, Rick, with your investment properties, each one has to be a different LLC. A lot of that's just for your liability. What's nice about the LLC is if a lawsuit comes about or someone slip and falls in one of my properties and they want to sue me and it's unprotected the LLC, they can only take that property. They can't take all of my properties. For the record, I only own one property, but for future thinking. So that's LLC. And in the LLP, if you have a partnership, it's a limited liability partnership there, and you can read along this. So at any point, this is recorded. You can go back and take a look on the YouTube page. It'll be on there in a couple of days if you want to review this. Also, if you shoot me an email at rick@kwwaterford.com, I will email you a copy of this entire Adobe packet. So just shoot me that email. You get all the information at the end. That way, if you're not writing it down, we can keep going. Okay, let's talk about the separate checking accounts. This is a big one that's really grossly underused. Even when I was a new agent, I'll be guilty. I did not have 7. 7 to me is just really setting up from the get-go. You can do it all under one bank. You can go into your bank you're with right now and say, here's what I need. How can you make this happen? And it's a way that you can sort everything the way it needs to be sorted. It's a way that when you go back and do your taxes, you can identify everything that's been done with 2 different checking accounts, credit cards, and 7 different accounts. So this is a real-time scenario. You just sold a house, and you get a $10,000 check that goes to you. First thing you do is you put this in your not you, your business, use your personal, not you put it in your capital account. So here's $10,000. The sad thing is a lot of agents, when they get that $10,000, they throw it in probably their personal operating expense, and they go to dinner with it that night. Congratulations, you're laundering from your company. Don't do that. Put in your capital account. This is your funnel. This is where everything starts. This is your money manager. It starts in your capital account. Next thing you've got to do, there's 2 guarantees in the world. Those guarantees, everybody's going to die. It's very morbid, I apologize, and everyone's going to pay taxes. Those are the 2 guarantees. Worst thing, and I've seen it by very talented people, is they get hit with a giant tax bill. $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 sometimes. If they're not prepared for it, that stings. That affects the lifestyle. First thing you do is put it over in your tax account. Taxes, 20, 25% for the sake of this. We're going to say it's 20%. So of that $10,000 that's not taxed, you put $2,000, put it right away, put it in your tax account. That leaves you with $8,000. Okay. The next one, you've got to keep the business going. You've got to keep it going, and you do that with operating expenses. What's it going to cost for me to stay in business? So let's say it's going to cost you $3,000 a month for you to stay in business. If that's 0, then put $3,000 in, because that's very important. If it's $1,500, you can put $1,500 in, whatever it is to get it for your operating expenses. How are you going to know what your operating expenses are? With a budget and by maintaining a P&L. So let's say you put $3,000 in there. That leaves us with $5,000. Next thing you do is you got to eat. You got to pay your bills. You put it in your personal operating expenses. So you got a personal budget of $1,000 at all times. That's a little bit low, so these are just numbers for the sake of math. Personal budget of $1,000 at all times, so it leaves you with $4,000. So now you've taken care of your taxes, because that bill is going to hit you. You've taken care of running your business. You've taken care of running your life. If you have money left over, you build up your business reserves. It's recommended you keep 6 months of reserves in that operating account. So if your operating expenses is $3,000 a month, what are your reserves? Your reserves are $18,000. So what you do is you build this up for those rainy days. If there's a market decline, if you get sick, if you get into a rut and you can't work, you don't get that paycheck. You live off those reserves. Your business can maintain by its reserves. I said you live initially, I apologize. Because after that, you've got to do your own reserves. For the sake of math, if it costs you $1,000 to live, well, you need to make sure you have $6,000 sitting right here. Your house is paid off, everything's paid off, that's why it's so cheap. You need to make sure you have $6,000 here. And then finally, once you have your operating expenses taken care of, your reserves taken care of, then you can say, time for me to saving. Time for me to save for investments. Time for me to save for passive income. Time for me to invest in the stock market, buy some more properties. Some of you might have two sources of income. So what's going to happen to this? If you have your real estate career and you own 2 investment properties, you're going to add another not you account, another not you account, and whenever you get income, start off with a capital. Put it over to your taxes. Put it to your operating. Reserves, savings. This is a big one. If you don't have this, put this on your action plan. This is going to make your life easy. You can look at it. You can upload your bank account, and everything's taken care of. Okay, so that's your separate checking account. Remember, going back to these pages, I want you to take note of what you have to do to work with your business budget and your P&L balance sheet. Put it all right here. Virtual assistant, a personal assistant. And remember what we said, everyone right now on this call, I believe, but I don't know who's going to be listening to this. You are everything within your business, from the CEO down to the person who makes copies, and that's okay. What is your first level of leverage? Many people think their first hire has to be an executive administrator who makes $25,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year. But really, does it have to be that? Or can it be a minutia manager? Can it be someone who cleans your house? Can it be someone who pays your bills? Can it be someone who takes care of that stuff that gets in the way of life? There's a saying in the business planning clinic, in Recruit Select, if you don't have a maid, you are one. If you don't have a landscaper, you are one. If you don't have a plumber, you are one. And I'm not saying this to be cocky or be condescending to anything, because you've got to ask yourself, the time that I'm spending on these activities, can I put it somewhere else and make more money? Take that in your business, checking, expense accounting, everything here. So Bob had mentioned that his minutia manager, his person takes care of all those details that he's not good at doing. He calls her work wife, I believe. That's someone who literally, when he goes on vacation, says, here's where you're staying, here's your rental car. A great quote he said was, pretend I'm dumb so I can be smart somewhere else. And that's running a business. His business is his life. So if you wanted to get that person who can take care of everything from paying your bills to renewing your driver's license, if you're at that point, God bless you. Maybe give Mary a call, shoot her an email. If not, think of who you can start leveraging to now. Teenage kids. Okay? Agent systems. I want to make this to be as much interaction as we can. Systems will keep the drive going. A system is a documented, repeatable process that can be done by anyone who sits in. I work with a lot of agents who are making their first hire or have made several hires, and for some reason the hires just don't work out on their team. Well, it's because the systems likely are failed. Usually it's a very talented person and the systems are failed. That an agent knows exactly what they want to do, but they have no way of documenting it, no way of repeating it, so when somebody sits in, they don't know how to duplicate it. And then they get frustrated. So lead generation systems. You all do it, so challenge yourself, make another action plan for yourself to write down, what is my system? Let's document it. If I were to take a week off of work and another agent sat in and lead generated for me, would they do it just like me? And if the answer is no, why not? Can you document it? Can you create that? Listing presentations. If you guys desire to get to the point where you have a big team and you have buyer showings and buyer qualifications and listing presentations, would you like your teams to be consistent and symmetrical in the delivery process? Absolutely. Because I can take 10 of my top buyer's agents and listing agents here in my office, and very likely they all have different processes and methods and forms. So if you don't have these systems written down, created, for those of you who don't have anything, nor do you know how to do it, congratulations, you're at ground zero. As you create these systems for yourself. It's going to make your life easier when you work off a checklist, because once you get busy, life can get chaotic. You start working off of instinct. When you show houses, what's the system? Contract to close, what's the system? Past client setup, follow-up, open houses, what's the system? What are some more systems? Shoot me out there what you guys do on a day-to-day basis in real estate. That's going to be important to have a system for. I'll wait. All right, shy crowd out there. Lead follow-up. Once the lead comes in, what do you do with the lead? We talked about it today. You got to service the lead. Farming. Farming's a big one. So many agents want to farm. They don't have a system in place. It's not part of their budget. They don't know what it costs, how to afford it. Seminars. Would you like to do seminars this year? Are you an investor yourself? You'd like to do some investor seminars? Are you going to focus on list pendants? You want to do some short sale seminars? What's it going to look like? Do you have that system created? When you travel, when you go to events, database management, communication, follow-up, it's all there. So take notes to yourself here of what are your systems on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being that you can quit tomorrow and someone can come in, see a documented way to do a repeatable process and anyone can do your job. Or a 1 saying, oh my goodness, if I quit tomorrow, they're screwed. Where are you at? Be honest with yourself. Be committed. Step 1, mindset, focus, commitment, and improve it. And if it's a 1, make it a 3. If it's a 3, make it a 5. And when you make it a 5, make it a 7 until it's a 10. Get to mastery. It won't happen overnight, but it can get there. Okay? Moving on, board of directors. So this, I kind of have 2 different charts here, and I look my little post-it notes here, but board of directors was one that was tough for me not to grasp, but I've never really heard of it before, and I sitting in Bob's class. He says, have a board of directors. I'm thinking, well, I've got one as a team leader. It's my ALC, my Associate Leadership Council. That's my board of directors. They help make decisions for the office. Well, I'm running the office. So if you think about the office, it's not me, it's the office. So who's in the call here? Renee, or Renee's assistant, let's see, Tom and Sam and Lawrence. You're up here. You're the CEO. This is LawrenceBolitoRealEstate.com, or whatever you are. That's not you. Some other portions of that, your executive assistant, your marketing coordinator, your listing agent, your buyer's agent. Eventually, you get to fill in the blanks. But it's not you right here. So it's very much like the board of directors. We're going to say, this is the office. This is me as the CEO. But over here, I've got a marketing center administrator, director of first impressions, marketing coordinator, full-time risk manager. Same concept. So what do? You create a board of directors. You guys have a board of directors, I'm sure. You just really haven't titled them that before. So who's on your board of directors? That's what we call your BFF, your best friend. You've got a best friend, maybe a spouse, maybe a sibling, a parent, maybe a best friend. You're going to call them and talk to them as needed. Hey, got a problem. This is what's going on. Struggling at work. This is a decision I'm looking to make. A peer partner. Have a peer partner. Get a peer partner. Get somebody who's just like you. I want you guys to stop and write this down. You look left, you look right, and you're thinking, who's in the same situation as me? Who's just starting out? Who's looking to make the first hire? Who's looking to grow the business from 100 to 200 to 200 to 500? Who's just like me? Talk to them daily. These are some struggles. Mastermind some of the greatest ways to train and to implement action. So peer partner. Do you have a coach? If you don't have a coach, my goodness, you are disciplined if you're successful without a coach. Coaches keep you accountable. Coaches keep a non-biased perspective. We get emotional because work is very emotional. Coaches keep you on track. You guys are on this call to run a better business, and who's really looking out for you to make sure you're running it? Who are you reporting to? Report to your coach. So we have a full-time productivity coach here, Elena Gretsch. If you have not talked to her, I suggest you do. If Elena's not an option for you because you're not in this office or for whatever reason, talk to your team leader, talk to your broker, talk to your manager. There's also some external coaches out there through MAPS and other coaches you can do. So find a coach. Coaches are a great investment. Some of the best athletes still have a coach. Tiger Woods in his prime when he was winning Masters and Majors over everything still had a coach. Now, he could clean the floor with his coach on the golf course. However, his coach knew exactly what his goals were, knew what his opportunities were, his challenges, and kept him focused and disciplined. Get a coach. Manager, team leader, monthly, check in. What's going on? How can I help? And then a mentor. If you're at the stage where you're doing 30, go find someone who's doing 130. Make him your mentor. What can you do to follow and inspire? There's a thing called a 3-foot circle. And if you look around the people you spend the most time with in your 3-foot circle, you can take probably the 5 closest, take their income, add it up, divide it by 5, and that's probably what you make. Take that for anything. They've got what's called a balance wheel. You take the 5 pillars of finance and social and spiritual, business, whatever it is, and rank yourself. 1 out of 10. If you're a 7 all the way around, go surround yourself with 8s, 9s, and 10s. Maybe ask yourself your top 5 people, do it for them, and add it up and see if you're the average of them. I'm not saying you choose your new friends. I'm just saying maybe spend some more time with some different friends. So think about that. You've got a board of directors. As a corporation owner, there's great things called write-offs. You are supposed to go have minutes with an agenda and a growth plan, and you can have a board of directors meeting and a board of directors retreat every year. You can take these 5 people and take them to dinner or take them to the Bahamas. It's a write-off, board of directors. Talk about that. So one of the questions is, can you be fired? Well, truly, I could be fired by my board of directors through suggestion to my owner, Lori. Your wife might say, or your husband might say, okay, enough's enough. Time to go get a job. You're fired. Right? Your coach could fire you. You know, you really like cutting it. Tired of you coming unprepared. You're not doing anything. I'm going to take my time and go spend it on somebody who's committed. It's going to speak loudly to you. Team leader can fire you. So can you be fired? If you have these 5 people all telling you it's not working out, then you probably need to say, well, it's not working out. And if they're saying, you know what, this is a bump in the road, what if you tried this, this, and this? Now you've got people helping you with the direction of what you need to do to get your business back on track, or to maintain it, or to grow, whatever your goals are. Right now, I hope you all are writing down and listing who are your board of directors. Who's your BFF? Who's your peer partner? Who's your coach, or who's your coach going to be? Who's your manager or team leader? Who's your mentor? Who you are aspiring to be? Write them down. Again, a big thing with these trainings, you guys are investing your time. I'm investing my time. If you don't do anything about it, then it's a waste of all of our time. So write that down. The people above cannot operate without systems and a business plan. Employees without the two will fail. So that's going back to this area right here. So think about that. Right now, you guys are these people. You are the marketing director and the listing agent and the buyer's agent. And without systems and a business plan, you will fail. You need both. If you feel like you're struggling, or you feel like you're not reaching your full potential, check those out. That might have an identification to it. Then you're ready to hire your first executive assistant. They can come in and know exactly how you want to do things and why it makes sense. Get the systems. Get the board of directors. That is the very quick summary of what needs to be done. We haven't really done any workshops. This has been a learning program, not a doing program. I want to share with you, if you do need to get incorporated, you can do so a number of ways. I'm going to get my pen out here real fast. Get incorporated at, oh gosh, well, that's not working out very well. Let me try this again. Sunbiz.org. I'm not going to be able to spell it. sunbiz.org. You go to sunbiz.org. You can apply online. You print it out. You send it in. It costs about 80 bucks, 75 bucks, and then I think 40 a year. Go incorporate it. That's going to be an action plan. Tell me some more action plans that you guys are personally committing to, that you're writing down right now and you're personally committing to get it done. Fire away. Enlighten me. Make this worth our time. Unless all of you are ranking that you did yes for the 10 of those, you should have some action plans. Come on. It's 5:37. I want to fill some time up here. Oh, cool. Sam, consultant with CPA, going to incorporate as an S-Corp. Fantastic. Sam, when are you going to do that by? I'm going to unmute you here real fast. Let's see. Sam, my radio show. Sam, you're live on the air. Sam, when are you going to do that by?
Well, I should have already done it. I will have it done by Friday, Rick.
And who's going to hold you accountable?
You are.
So by Friday, we've got 3 days that paperwork's filed.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I wrote that down. Who else would like to be held accountable for an action plan? Thank you, Sam. He's a vulnerable one. Business plan. There's some new faces on here. So you got a business plan. When are you going to have that taken care of by? When are you going to have your budget? How much does it cost to get into business? When are your board dues due? When are your MLS fees due? Do you want to go to Bold every year? Do you want to go to Mega Camp? How many of you would love to be at family reunion, but you just couldn't afford it this year? So was it in your budget? Were you saving for it? Was it part of that operating expense? Can you change that mindset? I'm going to mute you back up here. Sam's typing away. Cool. Also open 3 business accounts by tomorrow. Have the personal side handled already. Fantastic. So he's got his action plan. This is the interactive spot where I really wanted to get some accountability so I can help hold you guys accountable and help you grow your business. So if you're shy or you're not sure what it is, you're just too intensely writing, or perhaps not really focusing on Facebook, who knows, then let me know, shoot me an email. Otherwise, I'm happy to help hold you accountable. How many people do not have a copy of The Millionaire Real Estate Agent? Please raise your hand. I'm scrolling up and down. We've got about 12 people on here now. So raise your hand if you do not have a copy. Paul, you serious? You don't have a copy? Okay, I didn't mean to. Where'd you go? Paul Kelly, welcome. Paul, you don't have a book? Paul's got some echo.
There
you are. Paul, go ahead.
This is Alex Torres. Actually, Paul sent me the link.
Got you. So you registered as Paul. Alex.
I did.
Remind me, or just come if I'm not here to get it from Susan tomorrow.
Will do.
And we'll start reading that book. I was baffled when Paul said he didn't have it. Okay.
Sorry about that. I actually just logged on my first time I was having technical issues, but.
Cool. It'll be recorded so you can get caught up.
Great.
So everyone else has a copy of MREA. Read that, look at those systems, create your own systems. If you wanted shifts, do the same thing. So here's some information of where you can do it. Again, we have coaching available. Lena Gretsch is a productivity coach. I do some coaching for agents at a certain level in production, so we can talk about that. Scrolling through here. It sounds really easy, but there's some just very basic things in there that you can do to get yourself set up in the right direction. Now, of course, we could spend the next 2 months working on what to do with the budget, how to create a budget, and how to create a business plan. And actually, it's going to be some of our next topics coming up. If we look back here, this is what's coming up. Dallas, Texas is going to be next week, so I'm going to be over there. The 26th, going to get some people who went to a family reunion, talk about what they've learned, what they're going to implement. Some organizational. This is a big one. A lot of these things that are necessary to run a business, people just don't have time for because they're busy doing stuff. Well, if you can create that business plan here with the 135, this is 1 goal, 3 strategies, and 5 objectives for each strategy. This is a business plan. 411 stands for what is your 1 year's accomplishment goals. This includes personal, financial, health, whatever it is, business. The next section you break it down is in order to complete your 1 annual goal, what do you have to complete every month? So we talk about February. What do I have to complete in February to complete my annual goal? And once that's broken down, you have 4 weeks every month. What do I have to complete this week to be on track to hit my monthly, to be on track to hit my annual? So on March 5th, we're going to be doing some business planning. The lead generation model, economic model, budget, organizational model. Those are the 4 models that are in that MREA book. So those of you who have never read it before, have it done by the March 19th and it'll be familiar for you. And if you have read it, then it's just going to be a nice refresher. That's what's coming up. Some new faces on here which I love. What are some things that you would love to have on these webinars? What I love to do is find out what's important to you. What would you like to learn about? Oftentimes, I'm going to bring in guest panelists who know it much better than me, and sometimes you're just stuck with me. So let me ask you, what do you want to have for April 26th? Okay. So let me know what you'd like to have on there. We'll keep going through. Sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. What have I answered for you? And if some of you could jump in and say, what's one thing you took away from the session? Again, this was very surfaced explanation. We didn't go really deep. Success stories and how achieved, like a particular difficult sale. Okay, so that sounds like it's a topic. So maybe we can say working in the trenches. Overcome difficult conditions and deals. That'd be a good panel. Thank you. I think we also saw on here Sam, technology, gadgets, tricks, iPads, cell plans, portable internet. Okay. Now we're moving into May, whatever that is. So gadgets, tips, and tricks. What's going on with my fonts? I don't know. But I can change that. Very good. Thank you guys for jumping in there. Some questions, ahas. Ignore that. That's from last week. Next buyer. That's when we had a buyer session. One thing you took away, I'd love to hear some feedback. Sam, we're going to hold you accountable. We're going to let everyone know that you are incorporated come Friday, so congratulations in advance. If you guys have missed some things, again, I've been doing this since October. Many of our things are on here. We've had social media, we've had blogging, we've had all of the models on there before, listing presentation, buyer presentation. It's all taken care of, and you can see it on this YouTube page. So we have some extra time. Let me see if I can go to the YouTube page. Well, just go here, and you'll see all of those reviews recorded. They're about an hour long apiece. Our office is KW Waterford, and Portia handles all of the office. And then my job is to help agents grow, to consult, to coach, to grow the office, to grow the profitability. Who's not on here that should have been? This is my cell phone. Grab your cell phone right now. Shoot me a text at 321-277-5791 with some names of who needs to be on here, who's hit a ceiling in their business, or who feels like they're on a hamster wheel, or who needs some systems. Who can I call on your behalf to set up a business strategy session like I've done with a lot of you already to help them grow their business? Okay. David, to the concept of board of directors to be accountable for one-man corporation. Yeah, we've all got it. Let's just put them in place and have meaningful conversations. How flattered would you be if someone asked you to be a board of directors for them? It's kind of cool. Neat concept. All right, well, that's it. We're a little bit early. I appreciate the feedback from those of you who chimed in, and those of you who didn't. That's okay, too. I want you to learn at your pace. So I appreciate that. I trust this was at least some good information for you to think about. If it was all repeated for you, then I apologize. If it's some good things for you, then you can grab one good nugget, then it's a worthwhile session. So that's it for now. Again, check the next couple of days. I'll have this on my YouTube page. Send it out to your friends, family, or whomever, and we'll get you rolling. That's it for tonight, guys. Enjoy your night. Happy Tuesday. We'll see you in 2 weeks after I come back from Dallas. Take care.